Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so glad you're with me today. I want to start our day with a new greeting song, another one, and it's called Good Morning to You. So once you hear it a few times, you can sing along with me. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We are all here together, no matter the weather. We clap, wave, and say, this is a new day. How are you feeling on this new day? I hope you're feeling really good. Sometimes we feel tired, don't we? Sometimes we can feel mad or sad. Feelings aren't right or wrong. They're just what we have. So today, I hope you'll put a smile on your face and you will join me. We're going to start with our calendar. So can you count with me? Let's count our days to find out what today is. We start at number, yes, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What will come next? Yes, very good. Number 8. Now, what will 8 be? So we have a pattern here. Yellow, 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 blue. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Did you guess blue? Good job. Today is, let's put number 8 in there. Today is Wednesday, April 8. Say it with me. Today is Wednesday, April 8th. Very good. And it is a special day. Yes, I covered a picture of Passover. Today is the 8th of April, and this year is the start of Passover. And that is some days before we celebrate. What is this Easter egg about again? Yes, Easter. A decorated egg is a symbol for Easter. There's lots of symbols for Easter, and maybe we will draw some after our story time today. All right, let's read our pocket. Oh, we don't want to do our pocket chart yet? I forgot the days of the week. Let's sing them together. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And let's try the months of the year together. January, February, March, and April, May, June, July and August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. Thank you for singing with me, boys and girls. Such a pretty voice you have. Now my head keeps hitting on something above me. Do you know what this word says? It starts with H. Yes, happy. And then this one, we can't see it all. East, and then it disappears into the top of my ceiling. But we're going to write that word on our paper. Happy Easter in just a bit. But let's do our pocket chart first, okay? Can you read it with me? There's the letter I, which reads I like Caden and Jeremiah. I am Tristan. I can see Jasmine, Gunner, and True. I see Lachlan and Ellery. Remember this word? This is Lane. This is Rocco. I can see Emery. You are Emma. Are you Treowen? This is Aubrianne. I am Julia. Thank you for reading our pocket chart with me. And shall we mix up our song? We have Shepherd in there still. Maybe we'll leave him in. I have mixed up the words before, so let's sing our birthday song in a funny way. You birthday, birthday you. Happy, happy, happy too. You dear birthday shepherd. To happy birthday. Whoa, how silly is that? My goodness. All right. I have some sheep here and they have some sight words on them. Can you see them? Can you read this one? It reads I. Very good. Let's try this one. Am. Very good. And here's a sight word. We can't really sound this one out. The. Very good. And this one is, we haven't learned this one yet. Good. The G reads g. The two O's together read d. Yes, good. Very good. And remember this one? We put it in our birthday song, shepherd. Shepherd. And it says, if we read all those words, I am the good shepherd. Do you know who that's referring to? You're right. Jesus is called the Good Shepherd in the Bible. All right, let's try our alphabet action song. All right, boys and girls, get your hands ready. I want you to stand up and I would like you to do the actions with me, okay? So we're going to start with alligator, alligator, B, bounce a ball, B, bounce a ball, C, cat, D, drum, D, drum, E, elephant, E, elephant, F, fly, G, guitar, H, hop, I, itchy, J, whoops, where's J? J, jump, jump, K, kick, L, lick, M, march, N, no, O, opera, P, pop, Q, quiet, R, run, S, skate, T, turn, Where's U? There it is. U, up, viva, victory, W, wave, X, Y, yo, and some sheep are in our way. We can't see. Z, zipper, Excellent. Thank you very much for singing along with me. I'm going to put this down here because I want to write on our board. Whoops, that fell over. I want to write on our board the word Easter. So what do you think Easter starts with? E. Yes, E. The letter E reads Easter. And for the word Easter, because it's the name of a holiday, we make it an uppercase letter. And then Easter has a silent A, which helps the E read E. East. What do you hear next? Yes, an S. East. What reads T? Very good. A big or lowercase t, but it is tall. Easter. Do you know which letter reads Yes, R. And sometimes we put an E with the R, sometimes we put an O, but in the word Easter, it has ER, just like that. What do you think we should draw? Something that symbolizes Easter. Yes, an egg. Maybe you want to make some designs on your egg, like wiggly lines, zigzagging, or swirly curving lines, or maybe some dots. What else could we put on there? We could put straight lines, yeah. Yes, and Easter eggs are usually lots of pretty colors, aren't they? What else is a symbol of Easter. Yes, sometimes rabbits can be. Rabbits have really long ears, don't they? And they can have a circle head. They have how many eyes? Yes, 2 eyes, and a nose, and a mouth, and a body, and they have some legs. Oh, that looks funny. I don't know how to make bunny rabbit legs very well, but is it okay to make mistakes? Yes, it is. I'm going to make, because I'm not very good at back legs, I'm going to make some front legs, and then I'll put his other legs out like this. And maybe that will kind of look like a bunny. And he has a tail, a puffy tail. I'm going to give him a dark one. What else could we draw for Easter? Yes, the cross. So we could make a cross just like a lowercase t. We could also go around it. Yeah, we can trace lines just a little thicker than the T and make a cross like that. Yes, we talked about lambs last time, and if you would like, we could draw another lamb, because Jesus, who died on a cross, was called the Lamb of God. And we can give our sheep 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth. And how many legs does a sheep have? Yes, you're right, 4 of them. And if we want to make them so they're not just a stick, remember how we do that? We add another line close beside, and we can give them each hooves at the bottom, and then their legs look a little more like a lamb's, because a lamb's leg, if we look at the lambs we made last time, they have a front and a back. They're not just one stick, but that's the easiest way to draw them, and you can. But you could put 2 in too. 2 sticks for each leg. Very good. There are lots of other things, isn't there? Flowers. Yeah, flowers are a symbol of Easter. Maybe tulips, which kind of have a jagged edge and they have long leaves. We could draw a couple tulips. Yeah, you could draw lots of Easter things. And what could we write for a sentence? I know what I would like to write. I like Easter. Easter. Very good. I hope you will draw some pictures and write a sentence. And remember, always put your name on your work. That's good to do. All right. I want to move along, and I want to read you some stories. So I'm going to move this right over here, and I hope you can see. The first one we're going to read is called The Parable of the Lily by Liz Curtis Higgs. It's illustrated by Nancy Munger, and it was published by Tommy Nelson. So I hope you can see that. Let's read it. One wintry day, the farmer's young daughter shuffled through the snow, headed for the mailbox at the end of the lane. Brr! It was cold. She peered inside the mailbox and found a small white envelope. Surprise! It was addressed to her. Dear Maggie, the letter began, I'm sending you a very special, just for you gift. Look for it soon. Wouldn't that be fun to get a gift in the mail? Maggie loved getting presents, especially a gift as mysterious as this one. When would it come? Who was it from? What could it be? Those are lots of good questions. The farmer's daughter waited and waited. Some days patiently, some days not so patiently. Then, one very ordinary afternoon, a box appeared on her doorstep. The gift had arrived. The farmer watched as his daughter excitedly tore off the wrapping paper. He was eager to see what she thought of her present. But Maggie didn't say a word. She just stared at the small wooden crate full of dirt. Dirt was not at all what Maggie had hoped for. Poking out of the soil was a small piece of paper that told Maggie how to care for her gift. Hide in a cool, dark place. Water as needed. When spring comes, bring into the light. I wonder what it is. Then she knew it must be a growing thing, like a bulb that would someday bloom into a plant. Oh dear, her long-awaited gift wasn't a toy or a doll or a game after all. The farmer could see that his daughter was very disappointed. Can you make a disappointed face? Yeah, it's sad. His heart grew sad. The gift was from him. Oh, he feels bad. With a sigh, Maggie carried the wooden box down the steps into the darkest corner of the cellar and left it there on a shelf. Sometimes she remembered to water it, but most of the time, Maggie just plain forgot. The farmer did not forget. He just waited, and he watched. Spring came at last. The air was warmer, and the gray skies had melted into robin's egg blue. What a welcome sight the sun was. It was time for the farmer to hoe his garden, getting the soil ready for the seeds that filled his pockets. Maggie wanted to help. So she marched down the cellar steps to get her own Maggie-sized gardening tools. That's when it happened. Searching for her toolbox in the darkest corner of the cellar, Maggie knocked the forgotten crate of dirt off the shelf. Crash! The crate splintered into pieces. Soil was everywhere, and the flower bulb that rolled to her feet showed no signs of life. What a mess! Maggie was mad at the box and even madder at herself. She swept up the dirt and threw away the broken box, grumbling under her breath. And that ugly old flower bulb, she tossed it out the cellar door, never to think of it again. Until I wonder what's going to happen. Maggie woke up earlier than usual Easter morning. A warm breeze blew through her bedroom window, and the chirping birds seemed to call her name. Still, she dressed in her nightgown. Maggie tiptoed out into the garden. She was hoping to find some daffodils or tulips to decorate the table for Easter breakfast. That's when she saw it. The loveliest lily that God ever made was blooming on the edge of her flower garden. Its white petals unfolded like a trumpet. Its leaves were green with new life. Its scent was as fragrant as the most expensive perfume. Maggie knew all at once what had happened. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry or shout with joy. So Maggie did all three at once. Wake up, everybody! Wake up! Come see! The gift is alive! Her family hurried out to the garden. They couldn't believe their eyes. So much beauty from such an ugly box of dirt. Maggie noticed the farmer standing in the doorway, quietly watching. His smile gave away his secret. Father, it was you who gave me the lily, Maggie squealed with delight. Suddenly, her little girl's smile began to fade. Oh dear, she'd thrown away her father's gift without so much as a thank you. How that must have hurt. I'm sorry, Daddy, she said, putting her little arms around his big waist. Will you forgive me? Oh, my child, the farmer whispered, hugging her tight. That is what Easter is all about. And that's the end of the story. I want to read another one to you. This one's called, now you know that first word, the donkey that, and this is another sight word, no one could ride. Yeah, this story is written by Anthony DeStefano and illustrated by Richard Cowdery. And it was published by Harvest House Publishers. I like Anthony DeStefano's story. It's a very good one. And it rhymes. Maybe you can catch some of the rhymes. There once was a donkey, young, weak, and small, so weak he could carry nothing at all. Even when children sat on his hide, he'd wobble and tumble and fall on his side. No matter how much he tried and he cried, this was a donkey no one could ride. He couldn't haul stones, he couldn't dig ditches, or carry rich men with their big bags of riches. He couldn't pull carts with huge bales of hay. Just lifting a feather would make his legs sway. No, this donkey was useless, no good at all. Too puny, too shaky, too scrawny, too small. Now the donkey's owner was quite mean and tough. He said to the donkey, I've quite had enough. He pointed his finger and said with a huff, You can't lift a person, no matter how light. So take all your things and get out of my sight. Go away from here, donkey. Go away and just hide. What use is a donkey that no one can ride? So the donkey was led to the far edge of town, pulled by his neck, with his head hanging down. He was tied to a post on a small dusty road and left all alone while his tears overflowed. He was left all alone and wondering why he was born to be weak and born to be shy and born to be frightened and born to cry. Just then 2 men appeared alongside the post in the village where the donkey was tied. They came without warning on that fateful day. They came and untied him and took him away. The donkey was frightened. He said to the men, Where are we going? And then said again, Where are we going? And what about me? Please leave me alone. Just let me be. Keep quiet, the men said. We mean you no harm. Just follow us quickly. No cause for alarm. They walked on for miles and miles until they got to a town at the foot of a hill. At the foot of a hill stood a man tall and thin, wearing a cloak and a beard on his chin. His eyes that seemed sad and longish dark hair, and a voice soft and gentle that floated on air. He said to the donkey, It's time that you knew about the great thing that you're destined to do. You'll carry me into the city, we two. Into the city, I'll ride atop you. What's that you say? Cried the donkey with dread. There's simply no way. You've been misled. I'm just a small weakling. You must go ahead and look for another to take you instead. You see, I'm just hopeless. Ever since I was born, I've been subject to insults and teasing and scorn. My back's somewhat crooked, my legs aren't strong. I'm just a big failure who does everything wrong." "Won't you believe me?" the sad donkey cried. "Just leave me alone and cast me aside. I'm just a poor donkey that no one can ride." The man looked at him with a face that was wise, with a warm, tender smile, and love in his eyes. And then, in a calm and mysterious way, he opened his mouth and he started to say, "My help is enough. It's all that you need. It's all you require in life to succeed. The weaker you are, the more strength I give. I'll be there to help you as long as you live. I know you feel tired and frightened and broken. But do you believe these words that I've spoken? Do you believe? I ask you again. Do you have faith? I can heal you, dear friend." For some reason the donkey was sure that he knew. The words the man spoke were honest and true. They were said with such kindness and caring and love. It seemed that they came from heaven above. The donkey burst out, "I believe that it's true. I believe," he repeated. "I believe. Yes, I do." The man stretched his hand out and closed both his eyes, and then, to the little donkey's surprise, he felt a sensation he couldn't control from the top of his head right down to his soul. All of a sudden, he realized that now his body was stretching and changing somehow. Most amazing of all, at that very hour, the donkey began to sense he had power. He didn't feel small or weak any longer. Instead, he felt stronger and stronger and stronger. He could feel in his body the energy flowing. He could see with his eyes that his muscles were growing. His back felt like iron. His legs felt like steel. His chest felt so strong, it just couldn't be real. "It's a miracle," the donkey cried out. A miracle beyond any doubt." In order to show all the thanks that he felt, the donkey bowed his head down and knelt in front of the man who had made him so strong, with a beard on his chin and hair that was long. The man looked upon him with sorrowful eyes, then sat on his back and told him to rise. We're bound for that city that's west of the hill. I have a great mission I need to fulfill." The donkey got up. His tears had all dried. With big bulging muscles, he started to stride. No longer a donkey that no one could ride. Now he had courage and power and pride. He started to stride. He started to run. He couldn't believe he was having such fun. With a clippity-clop and a clippity-clop, he kept right on going with no need to stop. But as they drew near to the gate of the town, the donkey could hear a very strange sound. The curious noise made him perk up his ears. What could it be? It sounded like cheers. Soon crowds of people came into sight, shouting and waving their arms with delight. They were cheering the man and giving him praise, yelling hosannas and crying hoorays. It was amazing to see the love they expressed. They called him a prophet and said he was blessed. In front of the donkey, they threw with their arms flowers and garments and branches and palms. They laid all these down and started to sing, calling the man a savior and king. The donkey was happy. Gone were his tears. Never had people sung in his ears. Never was there a moment so sweet as carrying a king with palms at his feet. And all his life after, the donkey rejoiced that the king had made such a wonderful choice. To help with the greatest mission of all, the king used a donkey, young, weak, and small. So every year at Easter time, renew your hopes again. Remember how a little faith can give you strength, and then gather all your friends around and tell the tale of when a tiny donkey carried God into Jerusalem. Boys and girls, sometimes we're like that donkey and we feel really weak, don't we? But you know what? We can always ask for power from God. This is our last story, and it's called This Is No Fairy Tale. It's written by Dale Thomasoff, and it's illustrated by Colbert Gaither, and the publisher is Crossway. Okay, let's begin after I get this hair out of my eyes. We all love to hear fairy tales, don't we? They are always filled with exciting adventures, but we know that they are just pretend. This story is very different. It really happened. The Bible says that long time ago, God, the one who created all things, decided to become a real human person, just like us. His name was Jesus. He came to live with people because he loved us so much and wanted to show us what God was really like. Doesn't that sound wonderful? But some people think it sounds too wonderful. They think it must be just another fairy tale. How can we be sure that it really happened? If this were a fairy tale, Jesus would have been born in a big castle, in a great kingdom. His parents would have been the king and queen, and all the people in the kingdom would have celebrated the birth of the new prince. The truth is, Jesus was born to a poor family in a small country. In fact, he wasn't even born in a house, but in a stable where animals are kept. And no one even knew about it, except a few shepherds who came to see him. If this were a fairy tale, the young Prince Jesus would have been taught to rule over people so that when he grew up, he would become their king. The truth is, Jesus learned how to work hard with his hands. His father taught him how to make things for people out of wood. If this were a fairy tale, King Jesus would be too important to talk to little children. The only chance they would have to see him would be when he rode by in his horse-drawn carriage. The truth is, Jesus loved to spend time with children. He was very kind and taught them many things. If this were a fairy tale, Jesus would have many servants in the castle to take care of him and do whatever he wanted. The truth is, Jesus served other people. Many times he did wonderful miracles to heal sick people. He made blind people see again. He made lame people walk again. He even brought dead people back to life. There is nothing that Jesus couldn't do for those he loved. If this were a fairy tale, King Jesus would be very, very rich. He would own beautiful houses and land and horses and clothes. Inside his castle, he would have a big room filled with so much gold and treasure, he could buy everything he ever wanted. The truth is, Jesus was a poor man. He loved doing the work of God so much that he didn't think much about money and the things he could buy. He didn't have fancy clothes to wear or even a house to sleep in. He didn't have a horse to ride. Instead, he had to borrow a donkey from someone else to ride into the city. If this were a fairy tale, Jesus' people would always be loyal to him. If an enemy ever tried to hurt him, they would fight to protect their king. The truth is, one of Jesus' friends told his enemies where they could catch him. And when the soldiers came to arrest Jesus, his other friends were afraid and ran away. If this were a fairy tale, King Jesus would have lived a long life and died in his bed surrounded by his family and friends. The truth is, when Jesus was still a young man, the people killed him. They treated him like a criminal, even though he was good. Isn't that terrible? If this were a fairy tale, Jesus would be the leader of a large army of soldiers. He would rule over many lands by conquering them in battle. He would fight to save his people from their enemies. The truth is, Jesus came to teach people about the kingdom of God. He didn't come to fight wars. He came to save people from their sins. Jesus was not the kind of fairy tale leader they wanted, so they killed him. If this were a fairy tale, Jesus' grave would be a very large and fancy one. People would come and bring flowers showing how much they loved their king. The truth is, he was buried in a cave. And when Jesus' friends came there, they saw it was empty. Do you know what happened? Jesus came back to life again and showed himself to his friends to prove that everything he said was true. If this were a fairy tale, the story would end when Jesus died. The truth is, the story is still going on. Jesus is alive right now in heaven with his friends. And the best part is that you and I can be part of the story. If we love Jesus and want him to be our king, we can be his friends too, and one day live with him forever. Would you like that? I hope so. If you and I trust Jesus, this story will turn out much better than a fairy tale for us. We really will live happily ever after. Thanks for listening to the stories, boys and girls. And I want you to have a wonderful Easter weekend with your family. We're going to do some more Easter activities. And yes, I hope you will watch another video another day. I love you all. Take care of yourselves and remember to be kind to those you love and be helpful. Bye-bye.